Hey everyone, it's me again, and I'm going to talk about a Korean drama today called Love in Contract. I thought it was so good. The second topic I'm going to talk about it is who should ask the person out first. For me, it would be the guy because I personally like men, or would it be me as a female? And I identify as females. And then my last topic today is going to be dating men who don't really speak English very well and my thoughts on it, because for whatever reason, I have dated a lot of guys that their English is not the first language, which is kind of funny. A lot of lost in translation moments, as well as cultural differences. So I just find it to be really, I don't know if it's entertaining because it's still my dating life, but I just find that, dating people that there is a big language barrier can be very interesting as well as funny. So the Korean drama that I'm going to be watching or talking to you about, it is Love in Contract, and it is a 16-episode Korean drama. I watched it on Viki Network, and it stars some of my favorite Korean entertainers. The first is Park Min Young, and I first really noticed her in What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. She was the lead female, Park Seo-joon was the leading male, and they had amazing chemistry. I really loved the two of them together just because they just have a very good dynamic, and I think they physically fit well together because he's a pretty tall guy. I'm guessing he's pretty big stature. And then she's not too wafy or small. She, I think, fits him physically. And then they're just a very good dynamics, good energy together. So I love and have always highly recommended What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. And the K-drama that I'm talking about today, which is Love in Contract, it is with Park Min Young as our lead character female. And then the lead actor I personally thought was Go Kyung-pyo, and he has been in a lot of more quirky roles. He is leading male character, but he's also a little bit different. He's on the more quirky side. He's not somebody who is very, I guess, Korean entertainment, your stereotypical leading guy. He's a little bit different. He was also in Reply 1988, which was also a favorite K-drama of mine. He wasn't the lead. Park Bo-gum was the lead. And Hyeri from the K-pop girl group, she was also in Reply 1988. But really like Go Kyung-po in that drama as well. And now in Love in Contract, he is the leading guy, or I felt like he was the leading guy to Park Min Young's character. The other guy that was in this K-drama, his name is Kim Jae-young. And Kim Jae-young, he's been around for a number of years in terms of Korean dramas, but I wouldn't say that he has a huge K-drama that really broke out. I think he's definitely has very good talent, and I hope I get to see him in additional Korean dramas in the one day soon. That's what I'm hoping for, because I felt like he was so good in this Korean drama. So Park Min Young's character, she was the child of this one lady who was basically her caretaker and her nanny, and she was, I guess, groomed to marry into a very wealthy family, which I thought was really good. Okay, no, sorry. I don't think that part of the story was really good, but it was a very interesting part of the story. And then, so at the very end, she didn't want to marry into that family. She had, I think, kind of a nervous breakdown and just escaped that life altogether. She wasn't going to be a rich guy's wife. She was just like, forget it. She's going to be a girlfriend for hire, but not in terms of the traditional sense. She wasn't an escort. She was just more of putting on the facade of being a girlfriend, being a fiance, or just being somebody who the people wanted to get married, I guess. That would be the best way to put it. But nothing illegal. It was just she married a lot, which is kind of a taboo in Korean, any culture. I mean, you don't want a divorcee, unless of course it's Elizabeth Taylor, where she married and divorced like 7 or 8 men. That she was a very exciting woman, but maybe during that time it wasn't where you could just have different relationships. You had to be married to make it official, so you wouldn't be like this hussy. Okay, anyways, back to this K-drama. So Park Min-young's character, she does have love in contract with 2 different men. So Go Kyung-pyo's character, he was a very stoic, very introverted judge, and at first I thought like he had something underhanded or evil or maybe criminal in his background, but it's not. It was just a misunderstanding, which is kind of funny because that's how the drama writer had written the storyline. Very good, not very typical. And then Kim Jae-young's character, the other male lead, he's an actor in the Korean drama. And then he got caught in some kind of thing where he had to also be married to Park Min-young's character. So I thought that part was pretty fun. Like you do get contract marriages in Korean dramas, but you don't necessarily get 2 at one time like this Korean drama. And I loved the clothing and attire. That's why I really feel like this Korean drama, Love in Contract on Viki, is really good for the spring summer. I believe they filmed it during spring summer. It was actually aired in autumn of 2022, so it's not a recent Korean drama, but I feel like it's perfect for the season. We're on the tail end of the summer for 2023, and I just feel like it's really gonna be a good Korean drama. I might watch it again just because it was kind of fun. It was a fun Korean drama. But yeah, there was a lot of controversy. There was a lot of dramatic scenes to it, but nothing overly dramatic. There was no killings. There was nothing too evil. It was more just drama because it's a Korean drama. So I highly recommend it. And I just have really liked Park Min-young in most of her dramas. I think she's always very solid. She did something with The Winter. She did something with Song Kang's character, or that actor, a couple years ago, Forecasting Love and Weather. It was okay. It wasn't like it wasn't the best. I didn't really feel like they had chemistry together. I feel like Song Kang and Nevertheless with Han So-hee, that was really good. I really feel like that Korean drama was amazing, like such good dynamics. Since it's spring and summer and that Korean drama is very much spring summer based, I would highly recommend that Korean drama as well. So yeah, I watched Love in Contract on Viki, and I feel like it should be open at this point because it's over a year, and definitely go watch it. So that's kind of the end of the first part of my broadcast today. The second one is an interesting question that my friend posed to me at our dinner the other night. She's married, so she is especially wanting her friends that are single to be married as well. I think it's just because, she wants us to be kind of, I don't know, not alone in our middle-aged years, not alone during our, just to have a companion. And I was telling her, I would definitely be open to, a long-term partnership companion. At this point in my life, probably not marriage, just because I'm old. I'm kind of not, I think people who want to have children, they should definitely get married. And I think, certain faith and that type of thing, for sure, get married if that's that person's want and desire. But for me, more long-term companionship. And I think that that's kind of what my mom would also like. She kind of gave up the whole idea of marriage. So that's kind of that. And I feel like people in marriages, it's like, that's such a strong bond. It is a contract, just like love and contract, but it's actually a real contract. And I think like those vows should be taken seriously, just because you are vowing, well, I guess if you're, Christian or Catholic, or, you're going to be taking vows at the church under God. So yeah, take those vows seriously. And then it's also a legal thing. It's a contract, you're drawing up papers, you're legally bound to this person, your finances are intertwined, all your property, everything of value, everything that people are going to sign off on. So anyways, my friend, she wanted to know about our friends' dating lives, why people are so picky. And she actually said that to a friend. And this friend, I feel like we have a lot in common together. I think we're both older. He's a guy though. We're both older. And she told him, and she was kind of giggling. She's like, well, I told him he was picky and he got offended. And I'm like, well, it's not a nice terminology. Like, it's a negative connotation. You don't really say, hey, you're picky. I think, and I was telling her, it's more if you were wanting to have high standards, then that at least has a more positive kind of twist to the same meaning. And then what's funny is she kind of got offended that I was saying use the word high maintenance than picky, but I'm like, that's just words. You're actually kind of calling out his character and his behavior and personality by calling him picky. You're almost kind of knocking someone down a few points by calling them picky, because you're saying, you're kind of too picky for the level that you're at. Like, maybe you should lower your standards because that's your level. I kind of feel like that's kind of like what you're unintentionally saying to a person. It's like, you're so picky and you're never going to get that dream person, that person that you feel is of really good value, because you're not at that level. I don't think that she put that much thought into it, but as a single person for this many years, when my family members used to say, well, you're just too picky, maybe you should lower your standards. Oh, that conversation stopped right there. So I told my aunt at that conversation, I go, maybe nobody wants to marry me. Have you thought about that? Maybe no one has actually thought it to that level. So that kind of stopped that conversation, and it stopped all future conversations. And I had actually had people say that to me so many times over so many years. Like, after a while, I'm like, get over yourself. Don't you have better conversations to have than to just tear me apart at family get-togethers? And I'm not going to boundaries need to be in place, because after a while, you don't want to go to a function that is kind of an obligation just to have people pick at you. It's like, I could pick at people too. Do you know how easy it is to pick on someone? I grew up that with the one side of my family, all they would do is tear people down. People in our family, random strangers, people at work. They are so good at making fun of, picking apart faults, just tearing people to pieces, that it's like, it's super easy. You know what's difficult is to be kind, to be generous, to have grace. And so that's kind of where I feel like that would be leveling up. So anyways, I feel like over the years I've set so many boundaries in place. I don't think people really at family functions have conversations that I find to be offensive anymore. Mostly because I I now just try to walk away, because when I see certain people with that energy, I try to just walk in the opposite direction, because one, they want to get into it with me. I don't feel like it. I don't want to absorb that energy. So we're done. We're done. We have to just walk away and just move on with our lives. So yeah, anyways, so I don't know how I went that far off on a tangent, but yeah, so she was saying that our friend was too picky, which I don't believe he is. I mean, at this point, everyone has different personalities. We are going to be needing a partner that we can really feel that we can spend a significant part of our lives with. So why not be picky? Like, I see so many divorces, so many people breaking up, so many people in really sad or very disturbed relationships. Like, it's like, I don't really want to put myself through that, and I don't think my friends want to at this point. Just because we're older, you know, I mean, if we waited this long, why not wait some more? I mean, we don't want to wait until we're like, you know, in the nursing home, but of course, that might happen too. Like, you know, people find their love of their lives in nursing homes, and I've read stories where in their 70s, people will find the love of their life and they just happen to be of the same gender. I am not going to find somebody like that. I have a very particular type of person that I do find attractive. So yeah, I don't know, maybe my standards needs to like broaden, just because like as I get older, I might not be able to get those guys anymore either. So we'll see. We shall see. Okay, so her question, so the conversation, she was saying, guy's kind of picky, you're kind of, why are you single? So we were talking about a whole list of Korean drama actors. I'm like, that guy's really attractive, this guy's attractive. I mean, there was basically no Korean actor or, in entertainment where I was like, oh yeah, no, like a solid hard no. I mean, they're all kind of yeses. I mean, they're in entertainment for a reason. They are physically attractive. And I don't know their personalities, because you only see them portrayed in the Korean drama, and you only get to see what they are visibly portraying as their interpretation of the writer's character. So that part you kind of have to take with a grain of salt. But she's like, oh my gosh, you like everybody. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, it's not realistic. These people are in the entertainment, and you only really get to see the side that they are portraying for the character. And so then I was like, yeah, okay, so there was one character for a recent Korean drama that I'm watching, Not Others. And I go, yeah, the character, he seems a little bit quiet, introverted, has a more serious personality, and that's Not Others, and it's the police chief. And she's like, oh, well, you should try dating our friend X. I'm not going to say his name because I don't know who's watching this. But I'm like, no, I'm not going to put the first moves. I'm not going to be the person to say what is going to be the... I'm not making the first moves. I just don't feel like that's not my part of this process. It's not I don't need to take lead. If the guy can't figure it out, then I am not going to be the person pursuing the guy. There's just no way. I just don't feel like it's necessary. I mean, if I'm going to be single, I'm going to be single. I'm not pursuing the guy. And she's like, oh, you should really make a better effort. You need to try harder. And I'm like, are you kidding? Like, if he can't figure out how to ask a person out on a date, then that would be an extra double hard no. I mean, there's no way I'm going to date somebody who can't figure out how to ask somebody out on a date. And then I had to just then clarify, like, this person did previously give me his phone number. I mean, we exchanged phone numbers. This was a while ago, and we see each other in group settings every once in a while. So it's not like he doesn't know I exist. I'm not rolling out the red carpet. I'm not going to be like doing like the airplane light, you know, come through this way. No, if he can't figure it out, then that's on him. So yeah, I think I'm more traditional. I think the man should pursue the female. That's me. It could be different for other people, and that's on them. I don't care. You guys do you, but I think like that whole TikTok saying, if he cared, he would, or if he liked you, he would. I mean, or if he was interested, he would. That's so true. Like, if he's not interested, I mean, there's some kind of mixed signals here and there, but literally if they're putting no effort, then I'm not going to put in effort. Like, why? And it's not a power play. It's not a power play. I just feel like usually men pursue, there's usually some type of interaction where the guy can figure it out, they can step it up, they can ask the girl out. There's just, I don't need to roll out the red carpet. Yeah, that's my thought on that. So, but what's interesting is she's like, well, maybe you're not clear enough. Maybe you are not really sending the information, you're not really providing him with enough cues that you would be interested. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know. I guess that's part of my personality. And so if a person needs that much more reassurance, then we're not a good match regardless. So, but that was pretty funny. And it actually kind of reminds me of something that I was thinking about recently. So there was a guy that I thought was, or is, he still is, it's just because it's been a decade, 2 decades from when I first met him, and then a decade from when this interaction happened. So it was a New Year's Eve party, and for whatever reason, we were at the same party, and he's very, like, I feel like he is it's hard to put in words. I feel like he's very charismatic and has a lot of energy and soul and spirit. And so it's a little bit awkward for me to interact with this guy for whatever reasons. There's probably a billion reasons why I find it awkward to be around this guy. But anyways, so he comes up to me and my friends, or actually a friend, and he had a bottle of wine in his hand. I think a couple of glasses. Maybe he had enough for everybody. Who knows? But at that time, I had taken a fasting vow to give up alcohol and actually give up a lot of different stuff because it was a faith-based vow. And so it was so awkward. And I just remember he was standing there, and at one point, like, I think he didn't throw up his hands, like, I give up, but I think he just kind of shrugged, and he was like, what the hell? He's a very expressive person. Like, his face is very expressive. His body movements are very expressive. But I could just tell he was so, like, over it. He was just like not happy with this interaction. So he walked away. He walked away with the alcohol. And I was like, oh my God, that's just so awkward, because we didn't really toast. It was just like, he just came over and he was like, hey, and he like kind of showed the alcohol. I literally don't remember what the conversation was about. And then a few moments later, I think his brother came by, because my friend and I didn't move. We were just sitting there, because I usually, when I go to a bar or club, I just sit down and I don't move because I'm boring. I'm boring like that. Anyways, so his brother came and sat down, and he was super entertaining. He's just like a chatty, happy guy. I don't know either of their people, and I don't know them that well. I actually don't know them at all. But in my mind, the story that I created is that they're pretty different in terms of personality. I feel like the guy who brought over the champagne bottle is just a little bit more emotional and wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's more like not sensitive in like, oh, he's gonna cry, but more just takes in other people's energy and can be more happy or sad or hurt by other people's interactions with them. And what's even funnier, okay, my interaction with this guy, like some of it's just like, oh God, that's just painful and so painful, so awkward. But like later on, I'm following him on a lot of social media, but he like kind of cut off some social media. I think he's just either taking a break or he's over it and he just doesn't want to, you know, share any part of his life anymore, which is understandable. It's like, you do you, like, be happy. But I remember after that New Year's Eve party, he wrote something on his Twitter feed where it's like just a vague reference to a really stupid bimbo. Like, I kind of feel like that bimbo comment, like next level bimbo, or like, not good. It was not a good comment. And I was like, oh man, this guy is like ferocious with his feedback, but it is what it is. I don't know. I'm an awkward person, so it's going to be awkward. Yeah. So that would be my second topic of conversation for this time around. And the third one is to date FOBby people. So I am around a lot of non-speaking, well, now I'm not around anybody because I don't hang out with anyone and I don't go out and I don't do anything. But before, I used to go out quite a bit in Koreatown, whether it's New York or LA, even like in random places. I seem to like puppies and babies who love me. It's like people who don't speak English and engineers just so happen to be really into me. I don't know why. It's like people who are, I would say, engineers or socially awkward or just very INTJ people. They seem to really like me. And puppies and babies. They all like me. I don't know why. But anyways, so where was I going with that? I don't remember. So yeah, oh God, yeah, and FOBby, people, I shouldn't say FOBby. People who have English as a second language seem to really gravitate towards me because I think I'm also very open to the fact that English is their second language, and so whatever. Anyways, I was at a nightclub, actually at a Korean nightclub, and I was booked to a room, and in this room there was a really famous Korean actor. And so this actor is beautiful. He's just so stunning. He's probably one of my favorite Korean actors ever. I'm not going to say his name. Anyways, he was in town for a commercial, and we had exchanged phone numbers, and he had told me where he was staying. And yeah, it didn't go in the direction that anyone would think because I'm also introverted, and I don't know if I'm shy, but there's just some times where I just can't complete the deal just because it is what it is. So anyways, we had a really good time at the nightclub. We were talking for quite some time, but eventually people get shuffled in and out of this place because there were a lot of people in that room being brought in and out, and there was a lot of entertainment people in that room. Yeah, that guy's beautiful. But we were talking for quite some time, and when he spoke English, it was very polite. It was kind of on the softer side, and it was just it was still really nice. Like, he speaks English well enough. But I have to say, when he switches to Korean, it's just like, oh my God. It's very sexy. It's very like masculine. It just takes it's different level. And I think like when they speak English, it's like, oh yeah, it's nice, we're having a conversation. But when they switch to their first language or their native language, it is really sexy. So speaking of which, the guy from that one party where he brought his bottle of champagne or whatever he brought, So his first language, I don't know, I guess it's Mandarin. And then English, he's fluent. He spent enough time in the United States for him to be fluent in English. Although sometimes I'm like, that's really not the way you grammatically correct. But whatever. Anyways, he's mostly speaking English, but there are times where he switches to Mandarin, I believe. And it's like, wow, that's really sexy. I don't know why. And I like Korean, I can at least, if it's a basic conversation, I can follow. But with any type of Chinese, I can't. But it is very sexy. That guy has a very sexy, kind of very charismatic energy to him. Yeah, but anyways, so I've dated a number of people who don't speak English, and even recently, not recently, in the past 3 years, I guess it would be 3 years ago. But yeah, so that was my friend. She brought up that memory about dating and dating people who are Fabi. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Loving Contract, because I highly recommend that drama. It is with Park Min Young, Kim Jae Young, and Go Kyung Pyo. Very good drama. Highly recommend. The second is, if you are in the traditional male-female role, I strongly believe that the guy should step it up and pursue and not make it so complicated to to get the phone number in a not creepy, not stalker way. Ask the person out on the date, like, and if you're rejected, you're rejected. I mean, that's just called life. Like, you know, you can't, like, just deal with it and move on. And you know, there is definitely success in numbers. You ask 100 people out, you at least will probably get 10, unless they're way out of your league and then you're being too picky. But honestly, it's like, you never know, because everybody has different styles. Like, you can't say you weren't attracted enough, or you didn't have enough confidence or money or whatever. There's somebody for everybody, literally, especially now, because there's everybody for, like, there's somebody for everybody. I mean, prison inmates get a lot of love letters from fans, so like, there's got to be somebody for somebody. I think I did give the wrong impression to that guy, but I don't know. Every interaction with him is just painfully awkward, which is too bad. I feel like he and I would have a good time together. And then the last one is English as a second language. Oh my gosh, English, it's fine to like have a conversation, but when they speak their native language, it is very fire. So that is my episode for today. Those are your lifelong lessons from me today. So I hope you enjoyed this K-drama episode review. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in my TikTok videos. Feel free to leave a comment. And then, yeah, I'll probably talk about more dating things and more life interactions, just because it is kind of funny. I'm middle-aged at this point. I think I've lived a pretty good long life. I hope to double it in the future. Oh, and by the way, I'm still eating like there's no tomorrow. I think I just ate another 2,000 calories, when I think a lot of people in my gender and my age, they're eating that for the entire day. So I'm still having some nutrition diet adjustments that need to happen. And then I'm going to be ready. So, you know, watch out. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.